Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the live instant match reaction to Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1. I'm by myself for this one, and I'm just going to have a very, very brief rant, to be honest, guys. I'm just going to get through this as quickly as possible because, let's be honest, that was absolutely painful. As many people have said on social media since the final whistle blew, why should we waste so much energy on this team when they put us through this sense of disappointment so regularly? This is a really, really deflating result as far as I'm concerned. It's a real hammer blow to our European hopes, in my opinion. And I know people don't want to hear this and it might be a bit doom-mongery, but that's the game where we've just blown Europe, as far as I'm concerned. We're eighth in the table now after that result. We could have gone sixth, I think, but if we have won that game, we were right in the hunt. We are now a few points behind. We're in eighth position with some difficult games to come, more difficult games than the one that we just failed to win. And we have blown it there, I think. We're eighth now, and I don't think we'll finish any higher than eighth come the end of the season because this team is not good enough. There is so much missing from this team, and I know we've had a couple of injuries, we've had some bad luck, but these players are just not good enough. They've not got it in them to get us over the line, and there's so much that went wrong today. The defending wasn't good enough. I think Michael Keane in particular was really poor. I think the midfield was as passive as it always is. Andre Gomez was terrible until he went off injured. Sigurdsson come on and wasn't. He was a bit better, but not by much. Davis was poor. Gabaman come on for the first time in decades, and he didn't. He played poorly as well, but just forgivable given how long he's been out. And then Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison up top were really poor as well. Profligate in front of goal. I mean, we win this game comfortably if they take their chances. Richarlison's had about 5 or 6 chances. Calvert-Lewin's had about 2 or 3, and spanned all of them were spanned. That we're talking at least 11 sort of shots on goal, I think, that we spanned in this game, and it's just disgraceful. We've thrown it away, and I think we've thrown Europe away with that as well. And I know it's very disappointing to hear that, and people don't want to hear that, but at the rate we're going, we will be lucky to finish in the top half of the table. We're eighth now, and the way we are, we're just sliding further and further down, and we need to stop the rot quickly. But I don't know if these players have got it in them to do that. I just don't think they've got it in them at all. Plenty of disappointed fans in the chat, and I can very much understand that. Mikey Guire, DCL shy, can't score more than 5 yards out. Exactly. I think again, normally Calvert-Lewin's very good in terms of putting his body around and making life difficult for players, but I don't think he did that today. Terry Sheehan just tired of it, to be honest, aren't we all, mate? Honestly, Inky Squid says Richie had more chances than Palace and missed all of them. Aita was good, but he should have been a lot better. Yeah, honestly, it was ridiculous how many chances. Richarlison spanned. Michael Keane was shite at the end, says Reese. Shea, this club is now becoming more useless than ever. I wouldn't go that far. I mean, we have made progress, but it's just isn't, as far as I'm concerned, it isn't enough progress. And I just think, what's the point sometimes? Adam, season over. Yeah, I wouldn't go that far. There's still things to play. We've still got a lot to play for, but we have to start playing for them. And as far as I'm concerned, I agree with Adam on that front. The season might as well be over if we continue to put performances in like that. That can change. We might perform better in the next one, but we haven't seen enough evidence to suggest they can turn it around at the moment. And I know they've bounced back in the past, but the last couple of weeks has been a real slide into mediocrity, and I fear that that kind of rot will continue. I don't see enough of a will to turn that around now. Bob says a shower of shite, season over. Yep. Apart from season over, I don't think so just yet. We shouldn't write it completely off, but if a couple more performances like that are put in, we can definitely write the season off. We've got games against teams around us that we must win, and if we don't win them, then the season is over. And I'm going to these games that I'm talking about here, the 6 pointers. I don't think we can do it. Uh, I go into those games with not a lot of confidence that we can get a result that can turn things around. 5 created chances missed. Cole Costello, why do we support this shit? We all wonder ourselves at some point. There's at least 5 or 6, 7, maybe even 10 games a season where Everton make us question why we put ourselves through it. Let's be honest, it's really, really disappointing. So disappointing, and yeah. Cole says it makes you glad you're not in the ground. Really does. Yeah. Shay says we got chances to play Champions League this season, but messing up everything, mostly with the home matches. Honestly, the home form is so bad. I mean, we saw the statistics during the game. Southampton game is the only one we've won all the way through 2021. It's so bad for a team that we normally play quite well at Goodison and usually deliver decent results at home. It's the away form that usually lets us down. It's a complete role reversal this season, but it's absolutely terrible, and it's not acceptable to only win 1 of 8 home games this season. Sorry, this calendar year. Painful, really painful. Carlo Fantastico. Carlo made the mistake with subbing in Gbamin. Very, very bad time. Yeah, Gbamin was very poor. Forgivable considering how long he's been out for, but that's on Carlo to decide whether he's ready for defending a 1-0 lead against the side that were pushing for it, and he wasn't ready. And Carlo made a mistake there. You're right. It's one of those. I think Carlo made a whole host of errors. I think in terms of his judgments, his decision to play 3 at the back from the start. He could easily have put Holgate in the midfield and try to make it more combative and maybe get more bodies into the support and the attacks, because we were just too impotent and there weren't enough people getting forwards. We did create chances, but even then, I think we could have created more with more, clout in the midfield. We didn't need 3 centre backs against these, I don't think. But it was really poor. And Erwin Koeman says we should have brought King on and not Gbamin until we had a bigger lead. This is the thing. I think a lot of people are very upset with the negativity that Carlo shows in this game. I understand defending 1-0 leads against sides around us where we need to be a bit more defensive, but I don't think this was one of those games. I think we could have gone and killed it off. And yes, players like Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin spurned chances, but they still, we still could have killed it off. We should have had that attack as the best form of defence mentality in this game. It's horses for courses. If we were playing a Leicester maybe or somebody, I'd say, yeah, that's the best course of action, but not in a game against Crystal Palace. I think we should have been going on how to kill that game off there. Look at this squad. Carlo Fantastico says this team deserve Europa League. I beg to differ. I don't think the squad deserves Europa League at all. I think the squad is very, very poor. I think there's some very good players, but there's some very, very mediocre players as well. And I don't think there's enough teams better than us to say that we will not be getting in the Europa League this season. I know there's this Europa Conference League as well, but even that is looking very much like it's hanging in the balance now. I don't think we will be playing in Europe at all next season. And for my mind to be changed, I think we play Brighton next. We have to win that game. If we don't win that game, Europe is gone, in my opinion. Other teams will find some form in some way, shape, or form, and they'll pull away from us. And before we know it, we could be going into these so-called 6-pointers, where they're not even 6-pointers anymore because we've fell too far behind. We've got to get a grip and fast. We've got to win the Brighton game now. There's no excuses. Carlo Fantastico. We love Carlo. He just made a mistake, or in this case, I think plural mistakes. Manager blew that with the subs. Miles says time to cash out on Richie. We could certainly get a reliable striker, which we desperately need. That all depends who comes in for Richie and how much they offer. I still think Richarlison offers us a lot. He's one of our better players, but it was definitely one of his worst performances at Everton today. Really off his game, bad attitude as well, trying to take the free kick off other players who have a better free kick record than he does, and spinning all the chances as well. And I know it's hard for him when he misses chances that you want to get a goal, but you've got to play for the team, and it just wasn't good enough from Richarlison today. DCL deserves some stick. He can't finish a 1v1. Has been largely rubbish for a while. Again, yeah, I agree with this because I don't think Calvert-Lewin is a good enough finisher. He's brilliant if we can provide him a consistent service. I don't think we've got the players to do that, and maybe some of the blame should be laid on them as well. But Calvert-Lewin, he's a Premier League striker. He needs to start finding other ways of making goals for himself. He had a great chance, got one-on-one with the keeper, could have run round him, didn't. Hit it straight at the keeper. Chances that he spared, some of them are very much doable. It is really difficult. It's really, really painful because we've got two profligate strikers and a striker who we brought in to try and bolster the squad in January, Josh King, that we haven't even used at all. And it's really difficult. It's really difficult to take. And this team defense possibly is good on its day. Today wasn't one of its good days. It gave away a soft goal, but generally the defense is good. The attack is out of form and profligate, and the midfield is incredibly weak. In the absence of Decore and Allen, Tom Davies is poor. He's too inconsistent at best. Gomez is useless, and Sigurdsson can't defend. Gabaman's not fit enough yet. We saw that this afternoon. The midfield is way too weak, and this kind of midfield will, even if we do qualify for Europe on the off chance, we'll get eaten alive unless we strengthen. You know what I mean? We need to get a grip and fast. Honestly, Neil, do we deserve Europe after dropping points at home against Newcastle, Burnley, Fulham, Leeds, and now this? Been so shy at home. Agreed. So many poor teams, and we've made them all look good. Palace look better than us today. Let's just be honest. Palace look better than us today, and so many of these poor sides have come here and been better than us. And it's time for us to really think about this and think we're just not a good team. We're not a good team. Carlo Ancelotti's got a lot out of it, and we've kept ourselves in the mix for a while. But it's time to have a reality check that we are not good enough to play in Europe next season, and I don't think it's doable. If we do, I think it's going to be a miracle at this stage. I think it'll take a mad turn of events. And by that I mean Everton actually growing a spine and actually putting up a fight, which is, it's about as likely as hen's teeth. It's absolutely insane, how poor this team is. I reckon 2/3 of the league are better than us in terms of actual quality, and it's mainly Carlo that's getting us through it. We finished 12th last season. I think that's still where the squad's at. But we've improved it, but every other team's improved as well. And the standard of the league has gone up this season, and we still can't keep pace. It isn't good enough. These are the games that are must win. We've still got Spurs and Arsenal to play. That's great, but we're not going to beat those teams at this stage. It's difficult. Toffee Blues John says, let's hope West Ham slip up today. Yeah, I mean, we're going to have to hope for the teams slip up because we're constantly slipping up, and that's the problem. Is we haven't. We're on a really, really bad run, and we need to turn it around. Toffee Blues John says a few things. A missed chance. Our season isn't done yet. Still a lot to play for. We can definitely. Chances we made today were great, but Richarlison and Dolan down. Obviously, James being back, we did look a lot more creative, and that is great. But Calvert-Lewin and Richarlison, I don't fancy them ever when they're through on goal to score. It is so poor. It's Evan Kuhn says we are good enough. Personally, I beg to differ. I just don't think there's enough in this team to get there. There is quality, but there isn't enough. Every team that's above us in the league deserve to be above us because they have more quality. There's teams below us that are unlucky not to be above us because they have more quality. We shouldn't be getting our hopes up now. I think we are 8th now, and I think that is the best position we can finish by the end of this season. It's very, very disappointing, and it's not something I want to say, but that's how I see it going now. I think we're 8th now, and I can't see us getting back above any of the sides that have jumped above us. And it's disappointing, we'll have to see. I don't think he gets us any European football, but it's we'll just have to wait and see if they can turn it around here. When Goon says West Ham don't have more quality, they are shite. Again, Aaron, hate to break it to you, mate. I think they're a better team than us. We've got some brilliant brilliant players in this team, but I think they've got better. They've had more luck than us, I will say. I don't think they're a better team all round, but they've had less injuries, that's a luck factor as well, I guess. But they've got a better team to play with at the moment, and they will be more capable of grinding out the results than that we can't do right now. We should have won this game, and we didn't win it. We haven't got enough of a spine, and we haven't got enough of a backbone. There's these players have blown it again, and that is literally it. West Ham are not crap. In my opinion, they're a better team than us. They've got more players capable of changing games. We've got too many passive, weak players that don't offer us anything. I think West Ham will most definitely finish above us this season. I think we're in danger of being leapfrogged by a few teams that are very close to us. It's very, very concerning at this stage. I think Carlo really needs to knock some sense into these players. As we say here, West Ham are 1-0 up, so they're pulling away from us. This is, it's do or die now. If we don't beat Brighton next week, you're gone, in my opinion. He's not going to like that, but that's how it is. It's a difficult pill to swallow, but we're going to have to start getting ready to swallow it because we're not bouncing back at this rate. Carl's got to change it. It's painful. Oh, it's terrible, but it's Everton. That's all I can say about that, really. And to be honest, that's all I'm going to say. It's one of those. I think I've said I've said as much as I can say, really. And I'm not going to waste too much energy on talking about Everton tonight because they've done enough to ruin my day, and they've done enough to ruin all our day. You know what I mean? Let's all go and try and have a break from the football and regroup and see what happens next week. That's all we can do. Just got to go into the next game and try and turn it round. I'm not confident, but that's all we can do now. We've just got to win the next game, and if we don't, then it's good night Vienna as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I agree with Toffee Blues, John. Let's save it for the extra time. Let's, like I say, there's a lot of regrouping to do, and that includes me mentally before I go into that extra time because I am very drained, as you can tell, and I wouldn't be surprised if many of you guys who've tuned in are as well. So, let's all go. Let's all drown our sorrows or something along those lines. Enjoy what's left of our bank holiday weekend. Let's try and forget about this one and move on. So there you have it, guys. Everton 1, Crystal Palace 1. Let us know your opinions. Generally, keep commenting. Generally quite negative, I'd imagine, but very understandable given the circumstances. Give the video a like, subscribe for more content. I'll be back with more content, probably about this game, unfortunately. If you want to tune in, by all means, get involved. And until next time, thank you for watching on the Toffee Blues.